everybody, this is Mr. Crafting. Today I'm just kind of doing a debunk. It's more of a critique, or like more not react, it's more of a it's like a semi debunk of, if you can tell by the video. So the YouTuber goes under the name by OTHINUS, right? He makes a lot of videos. It's all basically about this character versus this character, and I'm a subscriber of his channel. He's pretty funny. I do like his content. It's pretty unique. So recently he did a video, well, not recently, it was a few months ago. He did a video of Yhwach versus a Accelerator, right? Now, okay, I was gonna say this. Now, he does do a lot of characters that are just not really talked about, or just really overpowered characters. So I understand why he brought Yhwach. Just the stuff he said, I feel like I just need to be attended to. Why I don't agree on his result at all. Oh, and a quick note, that's the reason why it's like not, this ain't really, I'm not treating this as my normal debunks. I can sell the background, it's a little different. I'm not always gonna do this, and like you can't even see my PNG. There's a reason why it's this, and I know in other videos he's mentioned how he's not really a full-on power scaler or like debater, and like he has a Discord server. He's even mentioned like don't go in there to just debate him, which I fully respect. So I'm not holding OTHINUS right up to this like power scaling / debating standard as I do when I do debunks, right? I hold those people to the standards, just that's what they're supposed to be. OTHINUS, from what I can tell, he's not really trying to be the typical power scaler or debater. So like I'm just really trying to, that's why I'm just kind of doing my little critiques to it. I was talking about what he said and just why probably he doesn't understand it, or I mean, he did say this was all his opinion. Maybe he's a little biased, I don't know. So we're just gonna talk about it, but no shade to him. Go sub to him. He does a little pretty good content. It's pretty funny, So let's just just talk about what he said about his thing. So something he was talking about is the fact that so he thinks Accelerator beats Yhwach, which it's the furthest from the truth. So he started mentioning stuff. Now basically I'm just gonna explain the stuff he mentioned about Yhwach and why it's just really wrong. So one, he was gonna be talking about his abilities, as one should, right? He said, get this, he only has 3 abilities. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but Yhwach has Bible verse of abilities just in base, let alone when he became the Soul King. He's the Almighty. He practically almost has every ability in the Bleach verse. But also the way how he talked, the abilities he did mention, he didn't really mention all of their capabilities, or just kind of undermined or lowballed them. And he didn't really go over the scaling for either character. He just kind of mentioned abilities, which I guess from the point of view what he's using, I guess the abilities would be the only thing that matters. But then it's not really, because if you have to take in other fundamental things in the fight. So now, like I was saying, he didn't really go over the scaling, which that's not a point in my video. So let me just explain. Now this is more of a critique to him and Accelerator as a whole, because he appears a lot in his channel, and so he would usually say how he just he defeats Goku, which I'm used to the whole this guy beats Goku thing. So I didn't really dive too deep into Accelerator. But then after seeing this Yhwach thing, I'm like, okay, no, I gotta dive into this. I spent the whole weekend and then some to just find out what Accelerator does. I did find out. So now let me explain to you. So this Accelerator has something called vector manipulation. If you don't know what a vector is anything with magnitude and direction. So a lot of things in real life, right? And Accelerator just has control over this, which is very, very broken, right? But here's the thing. Now he just tried to say that this would just automatically defeat Yhwach, and he tried using all these, he tried saying how he just said that Yhwach wouldn't be able to get through him with this. Now let me explain. You just said all of us. Now basically in the show, he can reflect any attack going at him, because his vector would allow him to do that. But he can also just rechange control if he touches it. He has a passive shield to always reflect things on, something like that. And he's just really broken, which is true. He is very broken, but he's kind of only broken in his verse, because there's a lot of flaws inside his powers. One being, well, his vector manipulation, right? He now has very flaws. One being the fact that he has to be able to calculate it. Yes, the only way for him to actually be able to reflect these attacks or alter them or whatever, etc., right? He has to calculate it, which he's very smart, so he can calculate stuff really fast. But let's say if you were just so much faster than him, right, then he wouldn't be able to calculate your attack, and you would just, well, kill him or hurt him. And it's even been shown in the verse when he was concentrating on something else, right? Someone shot a bullet at him. He was able to see the bullet, but since it was too close to him, he couldn't calculate it fast enough for him to like be able to like, you know, put his shield back up, which is already kind of a, you know, anti-feat. Oh wow, you know, he couldn't react to a bullet. Granted, like it was very close to him already when he saw it, but still he needs to be able to calculate it. So if you were just so much faster than him, like at least like a speed blitz faster, which is like 10 times, he would not be able to, you know, counter you, because that's just how it works. Another flaw is the fact that if he can only, like, his shield, his vector, he can only, like, you know, reflect, change, whatever, manipulate the vector if he's encountered its force before. It's if he's encountered it. For an example, in their own verse, right, someone was able to make antimatter or dark matter, right? He's never encountered this force before, right? It's just something totally different from the average laws of his universe, right? And because of that, he could not reflect it, and he was, you know, he was like, oh shit, right? Of course, throughout the fight, he actually just reprogrammed his brain to accumulate for dark matter. But that's the thing, drop him in any, you know, any other verse with a different power system, which is practically anything. Like, he mentions how, oh, he would just defeat Goku because of this ability, haha, but like, has he ever encountered Ki before? No. Has he ever encountered, well, since this is the main topic of this is, you know, Yhwach, has he ever even encountered Reishi before? No, he has not. So that means, he, you know, he would have to spend an entire fight of time to recalibrate his whole brain. So he's really kind of only broken in his verse or another verse that doesn't have, like, for example, My Hero, they don't really have too much of a power system. It's just like genetics, and they all, you know, accumulate by like their own laws. So like, that should work. But most verses, like, you know, Naruto's chakra, yeah, no, he would have to reprogram his brain, which isn't instantaneous. It took a whole fight for him to do it. So there's another flaw. So basically, you know, any other power system, he just would not be able to, like, you know, instantly be able to reflect or alter. We'd have to, like, learn. And if that person, like I'm just saying now, Yhwach's much stronger and faster than Accelerator, he would not be able to reflect his attacks, and he would just, like, kill him. Now, another flaw, now, that's just 2 flaws. Here's another flaw. Now, this flaw is kind of funny. This flaw is actually really funny. So, in the verse, there was a guy that spent years trying to figure out how to bypass his, you know, vector manipulation, and he thought of the most ingenious way. So, if he goes to punch him, right, and he stops his punch a second before he hits him, and then continues his punch, it just negates it. Now, it's something to do with him. His brain's already calculated the force, but then after the stop, it kind of stopped calculating. So when he goes to perceive the punch, it uncalculifies it. Now, do you realize how stupid that is? Like, your whole overpowered thing can be negated just by a really good fighter. That practically means a Baki character could solo this man, because I'm pretty sure they can stop their fist up, you know, a second before they even, you know, punch him. That's really common. Like, and anyone should be able to do that. Any skilled fighter should be able to do that. Goku, Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo, most of Shonen characters should be able to do that. It's honestly such a bad weakness. I'm surprised how no one else in the verse knows how to do. I know it's explained that the guy, you know, like, took years to do it, but that's just because he had to learn how to fight like that. When most of these characters have been training in advanced martial arts for years of their life. And yeah, no, that's just such a blaring weakness. It's laughable. Really, it's such a dumb weakness. It's just like, theoretically, I could beat his ass. Literally, a normal human was beating his ass. I could beat Accelerator's ass. but just stopping my punch a second before I hit him. You watching this could beat Accelerator's ass, and the guy got trauma from it. And this is like just one more weakness he has, which is going to bring up another point in my video, how he's like, talking about it, is he can actually, because he got, the bullet to his head I mentioned before, right? He can only use his powers 15 to 30 minutes at a time, or he just shuts off, which is a big weakness. But like, anyway, so that's the flaws with his vector manipulation, which is just too big for, basically he's almost useless in another verse, unless if he's just much stronger and faster, he can like outlast the person within the fight, so he can recalibrate it, which, yeah, that's a possibility. Now, time to move on. That's just my problems with just, Accelerator. He's just not that good of a, all-around character to use. And like, there's characters like Izazori, you use him and he solos. Accelerator won't solo for a good chunk of verses. But like, moving on to some of the stuff out with his win cons. Now his win cons was, yes, Accelerator, but also just the now I already explained to you why he would like that's really bad. And like, then you have to argue, okay, who's fat? Then you can argue, okay, who's faster? Is Yhwach faster? Yes, he is. I'm not even going. He is so much fucking faster than him. Like, the best I think I've seen was like light speed maybe stuff, but like I don't really know. But like, bro, like Yhwach, bro, just base Shikai Ichigo with speed blitzing light speed people. Like, they're much. Bro, it's not even a competition. Now, something he brought up in his video is that in this thing he says that, I'm allowing him to be able to see Yhwach because one of his abilities, puzzle, suck my dick, something like that. Now, not only is that a good that's not evidence at all, but also you didn't explain why. Like, he didn't explain why. Does that ability allow him to interact with like spirits, ghosts, or souls? If that's the case, yeah, he would be able to see them. But if that's not the case, you have to explain yourself. That's just my critique to you. You have to explain your stuff. You can't just say something and just be like, yeah, because I say so, and just assume people believe you. That's not how people might believe you, but that's not how it works. But also another thing, he tried to say that, this is funny. He tried to say that, he could just, soul crush him. And he said no, it wouldn't, because soul crush has a force to it. That is just so wrong on so many fundamental levels. Yes, it has Ryatsu does have a force to it, but it's a spiritual force. And from what I could tell, reading up on his, what his abilities are, he has none to almost no spiritual resistances, which would make sense since he's an Esper, a scientifical person. There's like only one potential feat of him having some type of soul manipulation, which I'm gonna get into, but like, that's not how a vector applies to like real life science. You're not gonna find spiritual energy as having a vector. It's like so totally different. Plus it's it falls in the category of him having never encountered Reishi before, right? Or Ryatsu, right? Which would be a different power system, which he would have to recalibrate his brain. But also the fact it has a force on your soul. It's directly attacking your soul. That's not something that like a physics or physical body can just negate. The person himself, his soul itself, would have to have resistance to it, not his ability, if you know what I mean. So that was just wrong. Another thing he tried to say was he had better soul manipulation than Yhwach, which is just dumb on so many levels. Like, it's just, hell, the average Quincy has existence erasure just because of their bows. Like, that's just something average Quincy's have, and it directly attacks your soul. Now, his reasoning for him having better soul manipulation is the fact that in the light novel, apparently, which he showed this one thing, which I'm not apparently sure, I read it, and also I'm not apparently sure if this is a true scan. It could be, I don't know, but like, he tried to say, so this person, right, Krona, something like that, right, he was gonna rip his soul out, right? Now, I read the whole thing. Now, the guy said, like, you're trying to pressure my soul, which doesn't really mean he's gonna rip it out. But also, I kept on reading, it doesn't really say anything to him actually taking his soul. It mentions him kind of stripping him of power or something like that. I don't know, but it doesn't really say he actually succeeded in taking his soul. But the real thing is he tried to say, and this guy's a multiversal god, and Yhwach is nowhere near that level, which is just so dumb. Like, do you not know the Bleach verse? Every realm in the Bleach verse has been stated to be infinite at least 1 or 2 times, bare minimum. But that's besides the point. The Bleach's verse is literally, everyone know, usually people, the Bleach, cosmology is at least like low multiversal to multiversal, especially if you include Hell, which is just stated to be a multiverse. So Hell alone is a multiverse, along with all its other realms and the Garganta that encompass it, which would also be a multiverse. And just the Soul King chilling and existing just kept this all together. And Ichigo was able to kill someone that had some magnitude of, just casually, and Yhwach absorbed him. He's much stronger than that. So yeah, just purely based off that scaling, he would be casually above the apparently multiversal being, which you did not explain why he's multiversal at all. You just said he was. The soul manipulation of Accelerator is just so little to nothing. It's almost like it would be like a polar. Honestly, Dangai, right? That guy, the one that can shoot spiritual energy that was used as a joke. He probably has more spiritual manipulation than even Accelerator. Like, it's just so dumb. Why would you try to take a verse as literally soul related and try to say they have more manipulation? That's just really dumb. But also, and you try to say, oh, so he could just rip out his soul, right? And millions of times over, and doesn't matter. And so because you didn't explain why he's stronger either. Now, my final point to make to this is he tried to say, he must really not research Yhwach's abilities. Now, he didn't even go over it. He basically just mentioned the Almighty, which he kind of, dumbed down like it was nothing. He tried to say that, so basically, now this is all falling to the fact that, Accelerator has never encountered something like the Almighty, which I don't even think can be implied to be even as a vector at all. It's like a force of future. It has no, it has no force or direction or magnitude. It's weird. You know what I mean, right? So I tried to say that him using the Almighty to see, just if you didn't know, he tried to say, okay, so if he can see the attack in the future and knows what it is, then it cannot be used against him to harm him, hurt him. Now, he tried to say he would not be able to understand Accelerator's ability, and so it's kind of funny. He just put a versus battle wiki thing explaining it, which is fine. I don't care they did that. That's how you kind of just look at what their abilities do anyway. But he tried to say, do you think he can understand this? Get the F out of here. But I'm like, wait, if you can understand it and if I can understand it, I'm pretty sure Yhwach can. But besides the point, right? So he must not understand what Yhwach can do. One, Yhwach using the Almighty, when he looks into the future, he tried to say he wouldn't be able to understand, but one of his abilities is just to understand anything he sees. And plus, he doesn't need to understand the ability for it not to affect him or hurt him, or just take the ability. Literally, he can just take your ability if he wanted to. He just has to see it. It's that simple. He just has to see your ability and be like, okay. He can choose, okay, so do I want this to not hurt me? Do I want to take the ability, or do I just want this to take my side? Literally, he can be like, okay, maybe I want this ability. I don't want it to hurt me. So if he wanted to, he can just be like, okay. Also, he has another side ability just to know anything what he sees. That's not counting the Almighty. But it's like he doesn't know the Almighty can just know anything what it sees. It's like he doesn't know that. And also, he can just control alt delete things. Literally, if he wanted to, he can be like, oh, so you have some type of force, which, he, again, I just had to, say this point, never encountered Ryatsu or Reishi, would have to recalibrate his brain. He'd be dead before even the fight could continue long enough to do that, right? Plus, he would not be able to recalibrate his brain to go against something like the Almighty, which is just, it's not a vector. It's like a higher dimensional force. But, he could literally, if he wanted to, just take his ability, Or he can just be like, oh, your ability doesn't exist anymore. He can just delete it. Like what he did with Bankai's. He literally was like, okay, I'm gonna delete your Bankai throughout all possible timelines because I don't want to fuck with that. He can literally just do that. It's really simple, and that's just that's just barely scraping the surface of just the Almighty. There's something like that's not, if he wanted to, he can just kill him. Just be like, yeah, no, you're dead, and that's it. Like he's just so much faster, stronger. He's just so much faster that he could just speed blitz the calculation. Plus, he's never encountered Reishi before, so he would not know how to counter it. 2, way better soul manipulation. He would literally just fucking rip his soul out. I don't know why I try to say that. He's immortal on a lot of levels. Can see all future. He can just delete it. Always come back to. He would not be able to hurt him in the first place, and he would always be able to bypass Accelerator as vector manipulation. And I'm not even going over the full extent of the Almighty, but if he wanted to, he could literally just take his power, or just be like, that doesn't exist anymore. Also, here's another interesting ability the Almighty has. And this will just totally negate. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Somehow, Yhwach is not faster than him. He somehow he's encountered Reishi before, so he can somehow reflect it, and somehow the Almighty is a quantification that it is a vector, which I guess, and somehow Reishi, a spiritual thing, is somehow countered as a vector too. Let's just give him all that benefit of the doubt. The Almighty has an ability for it doesn't even matter if he misses the attack or if you block it. He can just decide that it was successful no matter what. Yeah, that's kind of rip to Accelerator, and that's just the Almighty. He has literally Bible verses of abilities, not even counting the other Stern Ritter abilities, and there's really nothing else to go over. This was really poorly done, I feel like, and yeah, I don't know else what to say. So that's all. Don't forget to now go sub to him. I hope you see this so you can maybe understand. Maybe you can come to my Discord, I can come to your Discord. We can just chat about it, not debate, but just just talk about it. Maybe we can both help each other out in some things, but go sub to him. Anyway, that's all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. 500 subs coming soon. Live streams coming soon too as well. And Mr. Crafty,